All right, it is that time of year, the time of year where we create all sorts of New Year resolutions to do all of the things, just do all of the things to make us better for about 12 days. And then we say, screw that, give up, and go back to our regular lives. Personally, I'm not a fan of that. I don't like it. So in this video, I want to talk about why you shouldn't make a New Year's resolution to read your Bible every day in 2020, as well as just a couple of study plan options, what I'm going to do over the next year, and finally, a few tips for sticking to your plan. So you don't do what I used to do and read the first chapter of the New Testament year after year after year. Say welcome to the video. I appreciate you being here. If you're new and just discovering this channel for the first time, my name is Chris. I really appreciate you checking it out. And if you've seen some other videos and you're coming back, hey, thanks. I appreciate you coming back. All right, so I want to go ahead. I want to get right into it. Starting off with the first thing, when you're coming up with a 2020 Bible study plan or trying to figure out how you're going to read your Bible more in 2020, the first thing you want to do is you want to take your Bible, you want to pick it up, and then you want to open it and start reading, okay? I'm just kidding. Was that poor taste? It's probably just a really bad dad joke is what that was. In all reality, it is a real struggle to consistently read your Bible. And I really hope to get to a point in my life where reading the Bible is like food, right? And without a constant flow of it, I start to suffer. But I think like many people, I'm just not there yet. And if you are there, that's great. But before we go any further, in case you don't stick around for this entire video, which I hope you do, I need to say up front because it's something that I've recently realized, and I think it's extremely, extremely important for you to hear. Okay, here it is. Tip number one, huge tip. The more you read the Bible, the more you want to read the Bible. Okay, I'm going to say it again because I think it's important. The more you read the Bible, the more you want to read the Bible. It's like a lot of things that we don't want to go do that we have to form habits on, right? Like going to the gym. A lot of people, when they start going to the gym, they don't want to go to the gym. But after they've been going for a while and they're in a routine and it's a habit and they can see everything that they're gaining from it, then they want to go, right? So even if you don't want to read your Bible, I encourage you, and we'll talk more about this as we get into the video, to do it anyway, because I think you'll find the more you read the Bible, the more you'll want to read the Bible. And that's what's been happening to me lately, and it's awesome. All right, so let's start by talking about just 2020 plans and concepts, okay? And like I already mentioned, we'll get more into the tips later, but I do want to say one that I think is important as we start to talk about plans, and I learned this from my old pastor many years ago, is start with the New Testament. If you are new to reading the Bible, if you really haven't read it that much in the past, or you're just kind of really diving in, start with the New Testament. In fact, even if you have read the Bible before, it's still a great spot to start, right? And again, it depends on the individual. All this is going to depend on where you are in your journey. But the New Testament is an awesome place to really just start and dive deep into the Bible. And there's lots of plans to pick from, and you're really going to want to find one that's good for you. My last plan that I actually just finished really recently, it was a 30-day plan. It took me 2 months to complete it. All right, but I completed it though, right? Now it took me a little bit longer. This year, I'm actually gonna do the discipleship journal reading plan, which I'll show you in a few minutes here, but it takes spots from 4 separate areas every day. And while it's about a year-long plan, which again, might not be for everybody, what I like about this one is it's 25 days a month. So 25 days a month, I'm expected to read my Bible. That gives me a good 5 days a month where I don't have to do anything. And if I want to, which I might, it'll give me the time to really sit back and reflect or go back and maybe, study in on a few things that I didn't quite understand or that I wish I would have grasped better. But it gives me those extra days, right? So instead of saying, I'm going to read my Bible every day of the year, it's so easy to get behind on that, right? Because then you miss one day. Like January 1st hits, it's the New Year's, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get to it today. And then you don't do it. Or you do, and then that 13th, we talked about those 12 days. Statistics show that after the first 12 days, that's really where people start to fall off. So you hit that 13th day and you're like, I'll just do 2 tomorrow. And then the next day hits and you're like, I don't have time for 2 days of reading. So with the 25 days a month, it provides me that buffer zone, right? So either I can use that as a catch-up time, or as a study time. But really, that might not be for you. You might want to start at a 7-day plan. 7 days. Okay, January 1st hits, you're like, for 7 days, I'm gonna read my Bible. Or maybe you're a little bit past that. Maybe you're like 30 days. I want a 30-day plan. And you're really gonna hone in on reading your Bible every single day for 30 days. That's a huge success, by the way. I mean, if you can truly sit down and focus on reading your Bible every day for 30 days, that's awesome. And I know there's a lot of people out there like, I read my Bible for like hours every day, man, like no big deal. But those people, don't worry about those people. And if you are that person, that's awesome. Good job. I hope to be there someday. Another great option, if you want to take it kind of a step up from that, is the New Testament in 90 days. That's a reading plan out there as well. And I'm going to show you kind of where to get these reading plans here in a minute. So we talked about the year-long plan of 25 days a month like I'm going to do. That's currently where I'm at. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a great plan. And then we've talked 7-day plans and 30-day plans and 90-day plans. And really what I'm getting at is you need to find a plan that works for you, okay? I have a way to go. Maybe you're much further, but I have a way to go. If you're still not sure where to start, if you're like, I don't really know where I want to be, I think you follow the SMART goal concept. Now, if you don't know what a SMART goal is, really SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, specific. So you know we're talking about the Bible. Okay, are you talking about anywhere in the Bible? Do you know you want to do the New Testament? You know, kind of where do you fall? And then measurable. Okay, do you have a specific amount you want to read? Or is it just every day? Maybe it's only a few passages every day, which leads into achievable. If you know that you can easily achieve a few passages a day, like I don't read the Bible, but I want to start. Maybe it's like a couple paragraphs a day, and that's it. And then the T, time bound, right? I urge you, do not just say from here on out, I'm going to read the Bible every day. Don't do it. I mean, unless you are like super far along, it's not realistic, okay? And it doesn't really fit in that SMART goal concept. Set a time, even if it's for the whole year. If you're far in advance, you're like, I'm going to do it every day this year. That's your time, right? But maybe it's not. Maybe it's 7 days. Maybe it's 30 days, maybe it's 90 days, okay? You can always do another plan. If you pick a 30-day plan, you can always go back at the end of that 30 days and be like, man, that was great. I'm ready for a 90-day plan. But don't start so far in advance that it's not achievable. So along with finding a good plan is finding a good Bible. Now, you might just have to use what you have, right? But if you have no money and no Bible, no worries. I got a couple options out there for you. And to be honest, the first one, it's awkward, but I'm serious when I say this. You can go to almost any church, here in America anyway, and just tell them that you want to start reading the Bible, and they will give you a Bible. Okay, they will make sure that you have a Bible before you walk out the door. So there's always that. And the other option is your phone, right? If you have a phone, and most people do, again, at least here in America, I can't speak for the whole world, you have a cell phone. Although I will say too, I've spent some good amount of time in the Middle East and they have smartphones there even. So, you know, if you have a phone, there's free Bibles that you can download. And one that I absolutely love, that I love using, that I still use, is the Olive Tree Bible app. Olive Tree is an amazing option. And one of the things I absolutely love about this is there's free Bibles right there in the app. There's multiple versions of free Bibles that you don't have to pay anything for. But then they do have options that you can get. In fact, let's go ahead. I want to jump into it. I want to show you this app because this is also where I get a lot of my plans from. So if you're still looking for that plan or still trying to figure out which way you want to go, this is a great way to help. It's a totally free resource. This works with an iPhone, with an Android phone, with a laptop. It works across all your devices and it keeps everything in sync, which is extremely awesome. But I'm gonna show you on the desktop app just because it's easier to show you the screen. So when you open it up, it's gonna open up right where you left off, okay? I'm not actually quite sure what I was working on here, but this is where I was last at. And you can see it's got multiple screens. We'll get to all that. Don't worry about that right now. What I do wanna start by showing you are the plans, okay? There are so many plans. This is one I just kind of started. I just got this Quest Study Bible. It's really interesting. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a reading plan in there. I was just kind of dabbling around in there. It's a really cool Bible though. I picked it up really inexpensive. So as you can see, there's all sorts of different stuff when it comes to plans. Okay, like we talked about, You've got, well, here you got popular, Old Testament, New Testament, like we talked about, the 7-day plans. Okay, you can go by topics. You can go through the entire Bible in 90 days. That's a lot. Like, that is a lot. And if you are that person, that's awesome. Congratulations. Most of you are not that person. I am for sure not that person. Okay, you can go chronologically, 30-day plans, fast-paced plans, whatever you want. Maybe you want to just start with the 7-day. Okay, you're going to start basic. Look at this. These are all different options. A week on compassion, a week on humility. I mean, these are just awesome little plans to get started. Now, you can also search for plans. Okay, so maybe you don't like any of these. You can go ahead and search for your own in here. Or maybe you know you want to start with the New Testament. You can come in here and see all these New Testament plans. So if you aren't sure where to start, download this app and just check it out. Create a free account if you want so you can sync it between devices. Find a plan. Again, this is all free. We haven't started to talk about anything that costs you any sort of money yet, which is absolutely awesome, okay? And if nothing else, you can always just use this to track your plan and read your Bible somewhere else. My wife, for example, she very much is all about holding the Bible in her hands. So she likes to have a physical Bible. But you can still use the app on your phone, figure out your plan. You can say day 1, completed reading, good to go, day 2, and just follow it along that way, okay? Now, a few other things I do want to mention in this app, though, because it really is a great app that has helped me a lot, is some of the extra features that it has, okay? For example, you can leave notes right in here. I mean, you can make notes on anything. I can be like, I want to add a note here. I want to type whatever. You can change the icon. You can add notes. You can add tags. Okay, so here's like some of the recent notes I had, right? This is the one we just made. We'll go ahead and delete that guy right there. So I can click on this one. Okay, this was a note that I had highlighted in an area, and my question was, Pilate claimed that Jesus is not guilty of any crime. If this is true, why did he even bother to ask the Jews if they would like him to release this king of the Jews? Would he not already be free? Okay, so this is a question that I'd highlighted a section and wrote this question down. I tagged it with the category of questions, made the icon, and titled it the whole works. I mean, you can really go in depth on this stuff, so you can make it whatever you want it to be. Okay, and this is kind of one of the areas that I'm using it for. So questions that I can come back to, or areas that I can dive into. And this goes back to that 25 days, right? So maybe I read my 25 days and I don't want to not read the Bible, but I'm caught up. Well, now I can go back. I can go, what questions did I have? And I can pick a question and I can dive deeper on that question. Just an awesome feature. Okay, now another great thing is the ability to highlight. So I can click something and I can highlight it, and there's all these different options that you can add, edit, whatever you want. So I can just highlight it in yellow if I want to remember it. Now I have it set up to underline. That might not be your choice. You might not want to do that. It's really up to you. Okay, you can have it verses on love. So things God says on love. See, now it's actually highlighted in purple. And again, the dark screen, that's kind of the way I like having mine set up. So I can come over here and I can click on my notes now, right? So things to remember, verses on love, verses for growing, questions that I have, and I can add them. If there's a certain color that you want, and then you want to add a name to it, maybe you want to talk about like where God talks about joy. Okay, and you can start highlighting things that way. So it's, when it comes to customization, there is so much that you can do with this. And I can edit all these notes and highlighters, I can change them. So it's almost endless on the ability to make this Bible whatever you want it to be. And what I love is I can take all the work on my laptop and have my phone, and everything syncs right up. So a lot of times in church, I don't have my laptop, but I do use my Bible app, right, on my phone, and I can have it open and everything is right there, which is absolutely awesome. All those notes, those highlights, it carries over onto my phone. Now, one last thing I want to mention on this, because we're talking about Bible plans, is this. I mentioned these two screens here, right? This is the New Living Translation Study Bible that I have up right now. So I can go along with what I'm doing over here, and I can be reading different stuff, and then I can have this, see how it's changing? It will sync up with where I am, so I can cross-reference my reading with the study Bible at the same time. Now this right here was paid for, so I'm actually using a paid version. It wasn't real expensive, but the study Bible apps, you normally have to pay for those. But if you are doing a study plan and you don't mind spending a little bit of money to get a good study Bible, you can marry the two up. So that 30-day plan that I just got done doing, what I would do is I would read the daily verses, right? And then I would read the study Bible on that same area. So I was kind of reading it twice. I mean, I'm really only reading the Bible once because I'm reading the Bible, but then I'm reading the study notes on that section as well. And I find that it kind of helps not only reinforce the knowledge for me, but I often learn something new that I just didn't know. So again, another great feature, okay? All right, so we talked about a great resource for finding a specific Bible plan. We talked about a couple what I consider good plans and just kind of some areas on where to start. And I want to mention a few more tips on finding a plan that fits you, okay? The first question I think you need to ask yourself is, where are you on your journey? If you have zero experience reading the Bible, start basic. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't give yourself too much. I know people are like, you got to read the Bible, read the Bible, read the Bible. Yes, you do. If you want to be, like close with God, you got to read the Bible. But that doesn't mean you should start out with I got to be in it all the way. That came out wrong. You should be in it all the way, but you need to set realistic goals, okay? Those SMART goals. If you're brand new, start basic. Start with 7 days, start with 30 days. Once you do that, once you meet that goal, then move up from there. Then you're on the right track. Just keep going, right? Use that. But if you go too big too soon, it's so much easier to fall off the train. And then you're just back at nothing. And you're like, forget it. So where are you on your journey? Okay, now, the other question I think it's important to think about is, what's your knowledge on the Bible and Christianity? The more knowledge you have, the better. But that's going to affect what you do and where you spend a lot of your time, okay? If you don't have a lot of knowledge, start with some of the basics. That's why I recommend starting with the New Testament, like I was once taught, and that really helped me. You can get into it in the Bible, and you could get lost and confused so easy. But by starting with the New Testament, really just kind of focusing on some of the basics of Jesus, I think that kind of helps you begin to, it's like laying the foundation bricks, right? It's like laying that first row of brick. And next, find a Bible that fits you. For me, that was The Message. The Message was my go-to Bible for a long time. Now I'm reading the NLT Bible. Okay, that's kind of where I've worked into. Maybe you're not even at The Message yet. There's an Action Bible out there. You could actually get an Action Bible. It's like a comic book Bible, okay? And if that's where you need to start, that's fine. Don't let anybody judge you for that or tell you otherwise. Start where you need to start and then work up from there. If you don't like Olive Tree, if you don't like that at all, and you don't even want to look for plans on there or anything like that, or you don't like any of the plan ideas we've talked about, another great option is to just Google it. You could just Google Bible plans, and that's going to give you a vast majority. Or maybe you want a certain type, right? Maybe you want to look at Bible plans for young adults or Bible plans for married couples. Okay, Bible plans for women, Bible plans for men. Type in Bible plans for ... whatever you want. You are bound to find something out there. There are so many options. There's so many great options. Okay, so you found a Bible plan. You're ready to go. January 1st is coming, or maybe you're seeing this video in like March or April, who knows when, but you're ready, you found a plan, and you're ready to get started either today, or maybe you're like, I'm gonna start tomorrow. It's always better to start now, just for the record. But if you're like, I'm starting tomorrow, January 1st, or whatever it is, that's awesome, okay? There's a few tips that I wanna give you to help keep you on track. Attend a Bible preaching church. Maybe you're already doing that. Maybe you go to church all the time. That's outstanding. But if you're not there, I highly encourage you to start going to church, okay? There's a lot of reasons for that, and no, you do not have to go to church to go to heaven. That in itself is not like the gateway to heaven. But if you're not going to church, I highly encourage it. Find a church that preaches the Bible. And then, this is an area I struggle, so I'm a huge hypocrite when I say this. Huge hypocrite. Get involved in a small group. That's one of my goals. That's what I'm planning on starting in the next few weeks. I kind of already started to set it up is me and my wife, who are not involved in any small groups at all. I do think that it can really help you stay on track. It kind of just keeps your mind thinking throughout the week, right? Because it's easy to get caught off guard during the week. You go to church on Sunday, and then you're like, all right, Bible, week, day, all the time, right? And then something happens at work. Busy day, you work late, you're too tired, you get lazy. Let's be honest, a lot of times it's just lazy because we like TV, and it's just easy to sit down on the couch and relax. But by going to church and getting involved in those small groups, it just helps keep it on the top of your mind, right? It helps keep it in front of you so it doesn't just get drowned out with everything else in your life. And then this, I think, is extremely important, and this has helped me, and I highly encourage you to find a way to make this work. Read the Bible at the same time and the same place every time. I know that can be hard. Maybe it's not even possible for you, but for most people, I really think it is. And Charles Duhigg, I think I might have butchered his name. He's the author of Power of Habit, And he said that 40 to 45% of what we do every day is actually a habit, whether we realize it or not. We might think we're making a choice, but it's actually a habit. And habits form neurologically, okay? And when we can make a behavior become more of a habit, it begins to feel automatic. Again, whether we realize it or not, but if every day you're used to doing your Bible reading at this time, it's that much easier for you to do it. Okay, for me, it's actually at work. So I get to work early and I open up my Bible and I read at work because it's a quiet area I have before a lot of people show up. That might be like the worst place for you ever to do your Bible study. And I totally understand how it could be. Maybe it's quite literally in your car. Maybe it's after work in your car for 20 minutes or whatever time you have, or maybe it's right away in the morning before your kids get up, or after your kids go to school and you're home. It's different for all of us, but I highly encourage you, find a time and a place and make that your daily thing. If you gotta put it in your calendar, put it in your calendar. If you just know, you just know. But that will help you so much. I truly believe that. I got 2 more tips for you, so bear with me. We're almost done, but I think they're important. The first one is to don't read too much at once, okay? If you're not at that point in your journey where you could just power through the whole Bible and gain from it, don't do that. I can't gain enough from that, okay? There's no point in me opening up the Bible. So I'm like, I'm gonna read the whole Bible this year. I'm gonna read the whole thing, but I'm behind or whatever. So today I gotta read like 40 pages. Okay, because 40 pages of the Bible, that's a lot of Bible. What ends up happening, again, at least for me, is then you just end up powering through it and you didn't really gain that much from it. Do you know what I'm saying? You just like, I gotta get through it, so you read it, and then you're like, what did I just read? I mean, you've probably experienced that at some point in your life. Don't pick a plan that's gonna just be this overwhelming amount at once, okay? It might be a very small amount, but that doesn't even mean you're gonna spend a short amount of time on it. Maybe you're only gonna read 3 paragraphs, but you're still gonna spend like 20 minutes interpreting those paragraphs or reading another book about those 3 paragraphs, a study Bible, whatever it is, okay? So just pick an amount that you know that you can really process and spend some time on. And then lastly, and I know this can sound kind of cheesy, is pray. Pray, 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 okay? Pray about what your plan should be about. Maybe you start there, maybe you're like, Lord, I don't know where to start. I know I want to, I don't know where to start. Please help me. And then of course, pray while you're reading. I mean, maybe not while you're actually reading, but during that time, right? During that time where you're focusing on your Bible, make sure you're really focusing on God and what you're reading, and take some time and pray too. That's important, and that will help you. I truly believe that. Hey, so click this link up here to see our latest video, and then this one down here just to learn a little bit more on what this channel is actually about. I hope this video helped you. I truly, truly hope you can find a plan that works for you and helps you grow your relationship with God. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.